Hi guys, how you doing? So today we are going to be doing, yay, the Spiderweb Zip Bag. And I already have, what size is this? I think this is the 7x11 already done. We're going to do the 5x7 for the video. All right. And this is going to require you to do an embroidery piece before we do the big piece. So what materials are we going to need? You need your pattern and your stitch order sheet. You will need a piece of medium weight cutaway, hooped up and ready to go. You will need a zipper that is approximately 2 inches longer than the top of the bag. Since this is the 5x7, you'll need a 9-inch zipper. You will need 3 inches of gross grain ribbon. I'm going to do a side attachment rather than a top attachment and make this a wristlet, so you only need one instead of two. 1 lobster claw, 2 lobster claws, 1 D-ring, 2 D-ring, depending on if you want top or side. Piece of olive fun, about 6x8. The back is going to be about 6x8. The front, you'll need 1.5x8 and 5.5x8. And you will need a piece of 1/8 inch ribbon, approximately 6 inches long. And you will need your spider on a string already done. And I'm going to show you how to do the spider on the string first. Okay, so go ahead and hoop up. And since the spider on the string is only a 4x4, you'll just need to hoop up some 4x4. Oh, I guess I need to tell you about the spider too. For the spider, you will need the ribbon and 2 pieces of marine vinyl, approximately 4.5x5. Hoop up your stabilizer, throw it into the machine, and run color stop 1. Back in just a second. And here we are. We got our die line laid down, except my knot did not hold, but okay. So we need to attach our little piece of ribbon before we go too much further. Now, this is going to take a T90 little piece of tape. How big? T90. Okay. You just want to barely hold this mushelgana in place while everything stitches, and as it stitches, it will tack it down very much good. But so, tiny little piece of tape there. Then we want to make sure that and this is the top of the hoop, we want to make sure that it's coming right out of the spider's butt, nice and straight. And then we're going to tape it just a teeny tiny little piece of tape right there. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so there you go. If you are paranoid about things getting sucked in and sucked under while you're stitching the rest of this thing out, you can take a pen or a piece of tape, I don't care, and pin it down and out of the way, but you don't have to. Okay, and then we're going to just float. It all floats down here. Float a little piece of vinyl there, and we are going to run color stops. 2, 3, and 4. We'll be back at 5. Okay, guys, it doesn't look like we've done a lot, but really we're almost done with the spider. The hardest part of Spider from Mars is going to be the cutting. Sorry about that. So once we've gotten all the way through color stops 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's time to attach our back. Just like that. And then we're going to throw it back in the machine and run color stop 4. Truly and genuinely, it is that easy. Okay, folks, our spider is all done. First thing we're going to do is, while he's still in the hoop, we're going to, oh, look, no jumps. Haha. We're going to clean up his back a little bit because, you know, right there where the knot is, you always get a little bit of a hair. So, trimming this buddy, and I can hear Heather Grand Nicholson going, psh, I ain't trimming all 8 legs. But for those of you who are like me and do like trimming, let's talk about some tricks, tips, and ways to trim out your spider. So one of the things I highly suggest is putting your thumb in the ribbon right here at the top, or at, I guess that's his butt, right there at the butt, so that you don't accidentally trim that ribbon off. Then I also highly recommend going ahead and doing a fussy cut. Just get rid of as much of this other blurg as you possibly can. Okay, so that you're not trying to manipulate all of this while doing that. I'm also going to lift the top piece of vinyl. See, I'm still taped down there, and trim there. And then I'm going to untape and trim there. All right, now for the fun part. I always work counterclockwise because I'm a right-hander. I don't know if lefties go clockwise, but again, I'm going to make sure that I keep my thumb right there where that ribbon is so I don't cut it. And we are going to carefully, turning your work, not your scissors, trim all 8 legs. But guess what? We are not going to watch me trim all 8 legs. We'll watch me trim maybe 2. And you're like, but that doesn't help me. Trimming 2 legs does not show me how you're going to get in there to the spider's butt and trim that off without snipping that ribbon, because you know that's just begging to be cut off, in which case you just did all of that work and now it's not going to work for you. And you'll have to come up with another solution. Well, guess what? Because of the magic of television, har, 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 abracadabra, alakazam, wah! There you go. I've already trimmed out, all his legs. Okay, so we're up here where the butt is. This is where you've got to be careful. Pull the ribbon all the way to one side, okay? Okay. With the ribbon all the way to one side, stay as close to this leg as possible, okay? Now, once you get into his butt hump, you want to stop right about there. Okay, so you're not going to get too close to that ribbon. And then we're going to pull the ribbon over here to the other side. And we're going to come trim this leg. And again, once we get to the butt hump, I know all these technical terms. I am sure there's somebody who's all about spiders, an arachnologist, I guess. Is that what they're called? Who can tell me what the correct part. He's not, this is a black widow. It might be, I don't know what it is. Okay, so now we've come a little ways into the butt hump. See? Now I'm going to take the ribbon and the stabilizer and the back piece of vinyl, and I am going to fold them down, all the way down, up to the stitch line. And I'm going to take my scissors. All right. And I'm going to stick it right in here between the two and carefully cut. Like that. Now I'm going to pull the ribbon forward. I'm going to flip my spider over. Okay. And now I'm going to go and do the stabilizer and the back vinyl. Carefully. There we go. And then, voila. My spider is cut. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too hard for you guys. Make it up as you go along. Okay, guys, so we have got our spider made. Woo! And all cut out and ready to go. So let's set our spider aside and hoop up medium weight cutaway in our hoop. We're going to throw it in the machine and we're going to run color stop 1. Now remember, in the hoop bag patterns, that all of this shenaniganry right here is random colors. Force your machine to stop. I've done the web in emerald green because some people want to do it in glow in the dark. Some people want to do it black on red vinyl. Some people want to do it white on black vinyl, blah, 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 whatever. You don't have to do it in green, but color stop 6 is the web. And then again, nope, I'm sorry. It's color stop 8. Color stop 8 is the web. So we're going to do all of this fun stuff before we even start doing designs on our bag. So let's go ahead and put it in the machine and run color stop 1, and I'll come back and show you how to attach your gross grain ribbon and your lobster claw or D-ring. Okie dokie pokies, we've got our gross grain ribbon and we've got our die lines. I want to make this a wristlet. So I am going to take 2 little pieces of tapey tape, and I'm going to fish my gross grain ribbon through my D-ring or my lobster claw, blurg, and we are going to line it up so that it's in the middle of that die line, as so, with only about 1/4 of an inch sticking that way. And then, because I don't like flippy floppies in my machine, I'm going to tape down the metal bits, because metal bits are evil. And now we are going to run color stop 2, which will tack down our ribbon, and color stop 3, which will give us the placement for our zipper. Back in just a second. All right, my little miscreants, here we are. It is time to place our zipper. So, we are going to take our zipper, which is entirely too long for this project, but it's the, I tend to buy my black zippers way too big. Because I run out and then I'm like, oh, well, I'll just use these. And then when I get a look, it's like, oh, all I'm missing are the long ones. Sorry. All right, so we are going to line yon zipper up with our die line. We want to go between those 2 lines. Those 2 lines are 1 inch. The zipper ribbon is 1 inch. So we're just going to get it all ticky-tacky down. And then we're going to pop it in the machine and tack the zipper down. And then we'll come back and you'll see what we do next. Yay. There we go. Perfectly centered, perfectly straight. Back in a second. And here we are. We've tacked down our zipper. Woohoo! So I'm going to take this little piece of it, and I'm going to take that little piece of tape up. And usually I tell you to place both pieces of your vinyl and tack those down, and then we go from there. But because this spider bag is a little bit different, we are only going to tack the first piece of vinyl down. It is going to tack down, and then it is going to come over here and give you a placement line for your spider. So we'll be back in a second. Hey guys, so I am not doing you any favors. We've tacked down this piece of vinyl, and I've given you a die line for the placement of your dangle spider, except that it's a black zipper with black thread. So I seriously doubt if you guys can see that. So I'm going to take a little pin, and I'm going to go, it's right there. It's right there. Well, that didn't help either. Can you see that now? There you go. Okay, now we're going to take our spider that we've already stitched out and cut out, and we want our spider to hang. I mean, you can hang your spider low. You can hang your spider high. You can hang your spider anywhere. I think, see on this bag, I hang my spider almost hanging off the bag. And then one of the other ones, I've got the spider a little higher. I think for this one, I'm going to hang my spider probably right about there. All right, hanging off the bag. So that means that we want to tack the ribbon here, but we don't want it to tack like this, okay? Because we're going to pull our spider up and out of the way. So we actually need to rotate the ribbon this way so that our spider, actually, nope, sorry. We want to rotate our ribbon this way, yeah. Okay, so our spider is going to be hanging off the bag to the top and spider face down when we do this next part. Okay, I'm gonna go through that again because I know I've confused you, because I've confused myself. What can I say? All right, so you figure out where you want your spider. Usually outside and far away from the house. Okay. So when you figure out where you want your spider, he's going to be face up. When you get where you want him, he needs to be face down with the spider face down with the spider up here at the top of the bag and the extra ribbon down into the bag. Okay. So once again, when you're placing him, spider up. Okay. But once you've got him taped down, spider face down at the top of the bag, and the extra ribbon hanging this way towards the bottom of the bag. Did I confuse you way too much? That's okay. I built in a step. This is going to tack down just this ribbon right there. When we come back to place our bottom vinyl, we'll flip our spider and make sure our spider is in the correct orientation. But for the meantime, we are going to tape our spider out of the way so our spider does not get stitched into the bag. Back in a second. And there we are. You can see we only did this tiny little stitch right here to make sure that our spider is tacked down. We can cut the rest of our ribbon that hangs into the bag off. And if you want to, you can untape your spider, and untape your spider ribbon, and make sure that once we've done the rest of the bag, pretend spider web, that our spider is hanging in the correct position. Okay, does that look right? All right, so now let's get our spider out of the way. Let's tape our ribbon back down out of the way. Let's tape our spider back down out of the way. And put our bottom vinyl on. Remember, you need a nice, clean, straight edge. And you want to buck it up against these teeth as much as possible. Just like so. And just like so. We're going to tack that down, and then while we're in there, we're going to go ahead. That tack down stitch we're about to do is tack down stitch number color stop number 7. Then we're going to go ahead and do number 8, which is our spider web. And we will not be back until we attach the ollie and do the zipper tricks and skip to a loom, my darling. Hey, looky there. Our spider web's all done. So we are going to attach a piece of ollie to the back because you know I don't like that looks gross. That looks nasty, and it'll be on the inside of the bag, so everybody's fingernails will catch on it and what have you. So I am just going to take a piece of 6x8 ollie, and yes, I'm covering almost the entire back, but that's okay. We'll trim it down, and it will only cover what it needs to cover once the stitching is done. Okay. And I probably should have pressed this out a little bit because it's been in the cabinet and it's all wrinkly, but it'll work. All right, so let's go ahead and attach our ollie. I'm going to use black thread to attach the ollie. Back in a second. And there we go. Just like that, we've tacked down our ollie. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this bad boy over. Oh, and I lost some tape. Oh, there it is. Stuck to the machine. Nice. Okay. And we are going to trim just the sides and the top. Don't have to worry about trimming the rest of it because when we cut the whole bag, that stuff will get trimmed out. We're going to flip it over and we are going to move our spider. Okay. I'm going to tape this ribbon down and out of the way. And I am going to tape my spider into the middle of the bag so that he does not get caught in any of my stitching. Now I am going to open my zipper to approximately 2 fingers from the end. There we go. And I am going to put a little piece of tape on my transitions. And this is where we do our little zipper trick. We're going to throw this bad boy back into the machine, and it's going to go whoop, 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 and give us some die lines for some cutting. And we'll be back in a minute to do our zipper trick. Okay, folks, so we've got our little tack downs going on. We are going to go ahead and do our zipper trick. Now remember, we have learned that so that this, the nylon zipper doesn't jut out the side of your bag and look nasty, we're only going to cut to about 1/4 of an inch from the tape. We're not going to cut all the way to the tape, but we are going to tuck the ribbon under. So there's that part. Let's go ahead and put our tape back and lift up our tails. And we want to get under here to the stitch line. And we're going to put a little tiny tear. And we're going to push our tails through. Come here. There we go. And then we're going to pull them through on this side right here. Okay, we're going to tape. All right, we're going to cross our tails so that they're all neat on the inside. And then we're going to take a piece of tape and we're going to tape those guys down so they stitch how we want them to stitch. Okay. We're also going to trim a little excess right now. We'll trim even more later. There we go. We're going to come over here and we're going to do the exact same thing over here. We're going to pull this tape back a little bit. Okay. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut to 1/4 of an inch away from our stitch line. I'm going to trim that nylon out of there. We're going to put our tape back. We're going to lift our tails. We're going to go right up to the stitch line and put a little tear in, about 1 inch long. Tuck our tails in, just like that. Pull them through the other side. Hey, and while we're here, we're going to go ahead and put that tear in our stabilizer so that we don't forget later. Because without that tear, it really makes it hard to turn your bag. I mean, it can be done. It's just not fun. We're going to put a little piece of tape there. And we're going to put it back in the machine and we're going to tack those down. Then we will trim and pull back for our zipper or for our D-ring. You'll see. Stay tuned. Back in a second. Hey guys, hang on, we're almost done. So we've got our tack down stitches done. So we're gonna pull up this tape. Since I am doing a side attachment on my D-ring for a wristlet, I do not need to trim out the top tabs, but I do need to do one down here on the side. So what we are going to do is we're gonna get this tape up. Oh, look at the mess I made. It's okay. And we're gonna go ahead and trim that little tail. And we're gonna flip it over. And we are going to, oh, and look, I sewed down my tape back there too, goody. Trim out our tails a little bit. Ooh, and because I didn't trim that tail because I got so excited about almost being done, we're gonna have to, yep, like that, and like that. Yay. Okay, now we're gonna come over here. Ooh, my spider is escaping. Down you go. And we are going to cut not quite to that line. Not quite to that line. And cut up here to give us a little tab so that we can take this guy and fold it into the bag and tape the hardware down. And then we're gonna find our back. There's our back. And we're gonna flip it. And we're gonna make sure that the pretty side is on the pretty side because this is a turned bag. And just to make sure that nothing goes slip sliding away, we're gonna put a little piece of tape there and a little piece of tape here. And we're gonna throw this bad boy back in the machine and we are going to run color stop 12. Color stop 12. And we will not run color stop 13. That's a dead stop to keep your head from going over here. Back in a minute for trim out. Okay guys, here we are. All the stitching is done. It's now just time for us to trim out and turn. So one of the things that I like to do before I de-hoop my bag is to clean off this stabilizer that's right here behind the zipper. Now here's the deal guys, you want to be extra super special careful when doing this trimming so that you don't hack through the zipper and ruin the whole bag. I mean, it's salvageable. You'd have to put it on the sewing, take the back off, put it on the sewing machine, sew in a zipper, then reattach the back on the sewing machine, but nobody got time for that. All right, so we're all done there. We're all done there. We're gonna pop it out of the hoop. There we go. And it is time to trim. Now, if you've ever done a bag with me before, you know that as much as possible, I love to use my ruler and my roto cutter. So anywhere you've got nice straight lines, you can go ahead and do that. You'll have to go back and clip your curves. But this bag is Bethel. It has all this frill work down here. So we are going to have to do more hand cutting than I generally like to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our scissors and we're going to curve that corner and we're going to curve that corner. Okay. Now we're going to come down here and we are going to cut in wonky arcs about 1/8 of an inch away from our seam line. Do not cut your seam line, but we want to make sure that we are close enough that when we turn this bag, we get that nice webby, frilly, frill thingy doodle at the bottom because I like to make your life difficult. Here we go. There we go. It's that easy. Now we are going to reach our fingers on the inside and we're going to take off some tape. We're going to take the tape off of our lobster claw. Yeah. And we're going to take the tape off of our spada and our spider ribbon. And we are going to take the tape off our zipper, which apparently I didn't put on this time. Oops. And we're going to open that zipper as much as we can. And we're going to come over here and we are going to put a thumb in this corner. And we are going to twist out. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to put a thumb in that corner and pokey out. And then for each one of these points, we're going to put our thumb on the point and push through to the other side. And we're probably going to have to come back on every one of these points and make sure that they are pointy outy enough to get that nice frill effect down at the bottom. There we go. There we go. And yes, we are. All right, so I have this handy dandy little seam ripper that when you flip it over has got that going on. But the other thing you can use is a crochet hook, or you can use the roundy end on a chopstick. There are so many things you can use. So I'm going to take this and I am going to carefully roll that seam out. I don't want to poke all the way through my bag because that would suck. But I do need to apply some firm pressure to get that pointy outy thing to pointy out. I know, technical terms, all this jargon, who knew, right? Okay, so carefully, firmly, you go out, but not, you go out. Okay. And pokey, 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 firm, firm. I'm gonna make sure our spider's out of the way. We're gonna close our zipper. And yes, I know, my top edge right there, is wanting to roll the wrong way. You're gonna have to stack some books on this for overnight at least to get that vinyl to train to do what you want it to do all the way around. But hey guys, There we go. Our spider wristlet is now done. Oops, there we go. Our spider wristlet is now done. Peace.